Okay,
Can you hear
so
my
we're
speaker
live.
okay?
Huh?
Can you hear me okay?
You're a little quiet.
Yeah, I've had problems lately with my microphone.
Yeah, that's all right though. I can hear you, so
Okay.
um, I'm gonna try again to add Elfrey.
I see your emails too, Jonathan. We're both stuck.
Yeah.
It was frustrating.
I'm not seeing Elfrey's Gmail address on here.
If you put in Alfred Valdez, he should be the only one that shows up. Just type his name and see what happens.
Okay, there he is. For some reason, it wasn't coming up for a while. So yeah, invitations are posted to everyone. They were before, but I've just tried to add them to the call this way just in case.
Yeah, the ad worked. The ad's the only thing that worked. I didn't have the invitation was letting me watch it. Would let me watch the posted recording, but it wouldn't let me
Okay,
join it.
that's good to know. So hopefully this will work.
Yeah, be nice if Brendan gets to watch this.
Yeah, it'll be good for him. Um, trying to think.
See,
Jonathan,
you
you
missed the excitement, Brendan, of trying to log in.
yeah. I was kind of restructuring the group folder, although then my connection got bad and so I had to quit. But is it alright if I put everything from that we have in there kind of in an SRS folder, except for things like group contact information and things like that?
I think that's smart. It's too
Oh,
weird.
I'm just now getting all your messages. Sorry. Elfrey's wondering where we are. Um,
He's probably gone to the regular hangout.
he probably has. I'll tell him I sent another invite to Hangout on air.
Do you want me to drag and drop him? I can do it easy while you're
Yeah,
filling
that'd
in.
be great if you don't mind. My connection's been terrible, so I'd love to do it. But I'm gonna go look for my mouse really quick. Be right back. There it is. Okay.
It keeps thinking we're not sharing it in this new folder, but we are. You want me to move the meeting notes there or not?
Um, Probably leave them out just so that we have them
Sure.
quickly available if you don't mind.
No, I'm fine. Just I just don't want it to get too cluttered, and I thought that was one that probably should stay out.
Yeah.
Where did you put the contact one? Did I accidentally move it?
I didn't move it, but there's a chance that it could have been.
Because I didn't find it.
Huh. And now I'm not seeing that folder I created yesterday, so that's a little odd.
I moved it all in. Oh, maybe I put it into the wrong folder.
Yeah, I don't see it anymore.
I moved everything into a folder called SRS that's in the original folder.
That's all right.
See, there's a CS364 Team 4 folder
Yeah.
that we've been using, and I just moved everything into a SRS folder that's inside that folder.
Yeah, and that's the folder I created. Oh, okay. I see what you're talking about. Yep. Now everything is in there. That's all right.
What I don't see is our contact page is gone.
Is it gone?
Well, I couldn't find
I
it.
think you're right. It might be gone. Hmm.
But where would it have
That's,
gone?
oh no, I found it. Here.
Really? Did I put it
Yep.
in the SRS or what?
It was in the SRS. I just found it, and yep, now it's back to where it should be. So.
Oh, I did move it. I see that. Did you just move it back out?
I did just move it back out, so we should be okay there.
All right, hang on. Oh, well, I don't see it moved out, but I'll move it out on mine. There we go.
Okay, yeah. My computer, I don't know what it is, but Drive's been really slow for me. It just keeps freezing up.
Well,
All right.
either way, it's out. Okay,
Yeah.
so we can start fresh with the STD.
Yes. Okay. Let's just wait for Elfrey to get here, and then I have a couple of things I've written down for us to go over. And then we can kind of, huh?
I was going to say Elfrey's on the drive.
Yeah.
Is he trying to get into us still?
I haven't gotten any more texts for him. Maybe I'll give him a call. Because I have not been able to send messages hardly at all. My reception's been terrible today.
We're at the mercy of technology.
Yeah.
That's why we work with it, because we love it.
Yeah, my call's not even getting through right now. Yeah, I'm not going to probably be able to get through right now.
Well, just because well, let me see if I have his number.
Okay.
But you've sent him an invitation though, right?
I have sent him an invitation both ways, like in the previous invitation and inviting him through this.
Just, let me get his phone number real
Let me
fast.
grab. Maybe I'll see if I can't. Yeah. There he is. Okay, one second. I'm going to mute myself over here and tell him to come
Oh, you got
over.
him?
I might. Yeah, one second.
All right.
He's in the other hangout, but he's talking to someone right now. I got into the hangout and he saw that I was there, but he was in the middle of a conversation, so he didn't he didn't stop and tell me he saw me. So I just wrote a little note in the chat saying like we're over in this hangout, so come over.
And you gave him a link.
And I didn't give him a link, but I will right now. I told him that the link was in the email. I'll do that right away. Here, one second.
Sure. Jonathan.
Yep.
Do you know where our final SRS is? Because I know that that got shared with us, but I'm not finding it in the shared with me thing.
Final SRS.
I'm finding version 0, but I'm not finding the final SRS.
Thought I saw it earlier. Don't remember.
Guess what would be nice is if we put a copy of the final SRS into our SRS folder, so it was there.
Yeah. Hmm.
Actually, it should be out. We shouldn't even put it in the SRS folder because we're going to use it a lot with the STD.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
All right. I don't think he sees that I'm there. Maybe he hasn't minimized.
Well, let me call him on the phone.
Yeah, he's talking to someone and just, it's like he doesn't.
Is he on the
I've been
phone?
like, Elfrey.
He's just waiting for you to show up, so he's not.
Right, and yeah, I entered the call and he hasn't seen it or something. I don't know, but
That's
yeah.
okay. If you find that, Jonathan, if you'd post that
Yeah.
folder. Away.
Okay. Well, before Elfrey gets here, I guess I do have one assignment that we could talk about.
Okay.
Lorna, I was talking, it looks like we might end up with more of the interface design. It's kind of what we had talked about originally, and I kind of brought that up, that our team had kind of focused on that, and that we had done the elicitation, we'd looked at the BYU system, and they kind of are wanting a visual of how the system will look and work so that we can all be on the same page. So I kind of said, how about I talk to Lorna and see if she could get the, like a couple of, yeah, a couple of screenshots. Huh? What was that, Lorna?
I'm talking to Alfred.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because she's recording it. We're doing a hangout on the air for recording because Brendan can't be here. So you need to go to this other one so that Brendan can watch it later. He's not able to come yet. All right, sure, bye.
Okay.
Okay, I'm here.
All right. Sorry about the confusion. It probably will just be this one time that we record it.
I can go through and get some things from my son. I can blank out anything that I think is too
That'd be
sensitive.
great. If you could just get like several screenshots, that'd be great. And we can, and you can get those either to Daniel or to me, and I'll send them to him. But yeah, just a couple screenshots of that, and then we can talk a little bit more about where the STD is going from a high level standpoint right now.
Right.
So first things first.
Aren't going to make it exactly like that. I mean, we can adjust
Right.
it, but it is an
Yeah.
excellent program, and I don't see any reason to go horribly.
Yeah, absolutely. And our requirements are kind of similar to that. So
yeah, we shouldn't be locked into it though, but it is nice if people at least have a general idea. It makes
I
a
agree.
prototype.
Uh-huh. So, okay, I wanted to start with one description from the reading that we all did. I know you guys all did the reading already, but I just wanted to highlight one important point.
Which page?
281.
Okay.
Just at the very bottom under 4.3, purpose of an STD.
Mm-hmm.
And the last about two sentences, it says, in essence, the STD becomes a detailed blueprint for the implementation activity. In a complete STD, each requirement must be traceable to one or more design entities.
Yeah, that's a line I thought was important.
Yeah, so that's one of those things that I just kind of wanted to say right off the bat so that we all know that we have to have a one-to-one mapping of design elements to what requirement they stem from.
Does it have to be one-to-one, or can they be one-to-one?
Actually, I'm not sure.
Because I got the impression as long as
Yeah.
there's a connection.
I can't barely hear Lorna. So, you know,
Sorry,
not to
everybody.
offend you, Lorna, but
No,
I
no, no,
can't hear you
no.
well.
I'm having problems with my microphone.
Oh, okay.
I'm
I
I'm
thought
on a
you
different.
might be far away from the microphone or something.
No, it's right by my mouth, but I am on a new computer. I'm on an old computer and it doesn't work well.
Okay.
But
Sorry about that.
yeah, no, I've got it up. The volumes are up at full. They're as high as they can go.
That's all
Anyway,
right.
what I was going to say was, I thought that as long as they're there, the connections are there. They don't necessarily have to be
No,
one-to-one. They can.
you're right. I'm sorry. I misspoke. It's not a one-to-one mapping. It's just, kind of a one-to-many mapping. Each requirement must be mapped to, one or more design entities. So every design entity, every requirement has to be traceable. You can't just say, oh, well, we decided not to implement that requirement. Eventually, we'll have to show where they all
Okay.
come from. So just so that we all have that in mind as we're working.
So we can make comments on the May requirements and say, this will be for a future whatever, and that's why it's not here. But
That's a good point to consider. The May requirements, I'm not sure that those would all need to be implemented. I'll make a note of that. May
possibly
requirement.
they'll need a comment or something.
Right. They probably will need some kind of acknowledgement.
Mhm. And there's some of the shoulds would be that way too. But
Exactly. Definitely. All the shalls and probably all of the shoulds, but yeah.
Well, the reasonable shoulds.
Right.
Yeah, the ones that fit.
Right. So with that in mind, I wanted to kind of talk about the high level idea that we kind of came up with about our project. It's looking like we're going to go with an MVC approach. So, and it may be divided up into model, view, control, and a data layer. And each team would take a different layer of the system.
So we're the view group so far?
More or less. It hasn't been defined that specifically. Another way that we're dividing things up is if you look on page 22 of the book, there is a diagram with a pyramid, a design model here. You can kind of see it.
Right, got it.
Okay. Yeah, there it has component level design, interface design, architectural design, and data class design. Right now, what we're kind of limiting ourselves to is the interface design. So you could call that the view, but for now, this is kind of what we're looking at. But overall, it will probably end up being an MVC sort of approach. Yeah, that's kind of the idea that we have. You'll have the view, which is the interface for the students. You'll have, a data accessing layer. You'll have control logic that handles everything, that handles user interactions as well. So that's the overall idea.
Okay.
Another important thing to kind of note. So we have, the MVC. We have the interface. Yeah.
Amy, on this pyramid component level, is that stuff? What is
it?
I'm not familiar with the component level.
Yeah, that's something that I kind of had I had questions about it too in the meeting. The guy who took it, he seemed to understand more or less, how it fit into the scheme of things. What I kind of asked about that, and I kind of said, well, architectural design, that kind of sounds like the overall, structure charts, flow charts, how everything will work in general. Component level design, I think just has more to do with, I think it's more similar to data and class design, but I don't think that it's that specific. I think that it might just deal with the different components, such as Genzabar and some of the other components they were looking at. The guy who took it, I think it was Daniel Marsden. I think that he seemed to say, "Oh, that's no problem. I understand already." So, it was still a little iffy for me. We only talked for an hour, so hopefully I can get a little. What?
So it's good we took one we understand.
Yeah, we understand interface. I figured all of them would probably be a fairly similar amount of work, but It looks like we'll be doing interface. The other
Actually, when
important,
you work, usually the interface is the easier part.
it usually is,
So you,
Yeah,
but I looked at
we get to do a lot of views though.
lots of views. That's the thing. Our work will have a lot of quantity.
but are we? Wait. Let me get this straight. We're not gonna build it. We're just gonna build the software design of
Yeah,
it, isn't it? Just
exactly. But we
so
have
it's
to
just
build
like
it well enough. We have to design it well enough that we could potentially build it.
It's got to be
So,
professional, yeah.
yeah, and I don't know if you remember the SRS that I shared with you guys from Jonathan Romrell.
Right.
He also shared with me his SDD, and the interface actually was page-wise the biggest part. It didn't seem to be. It didn't seem like all of those pieces were necessarily extremely difficult, but there was a lot of work to do. So we have our work cut out for us. If you'd like, I can share that SDD with you. You can kind of look at the different parts.
Why
But
don't you put it in the folder so
yeah,
that we can use it? The other one was really useful when we were working on the SRS.
right,
And I think that's going to be good because we've got a ton of diagrams to draw, and those take time
right,
to make them consistent. Because say if Elfried does one and I do one, they need to
right.
look like they're on the same system. So we have to have
Yeah.
consistency.
Something that I thought about with that, we will probably be doing several mock-ups. There's a website, mockups with a Q, MOQUPS,
Okay.
that I've used. Huh?
yes,
Yeah, mockups with a Q.
MOQ.
UPS. I've used it for several other projects. I was wondering if maybe we got a team account. It might be a couple dollars, but we'd only have it for a month or two. Yeah, that should be the website. Let me open it up. Yeah, that's it. If we got a group account and we're able to work on that together, we'd be able to get the mock-ups of our design, save them all in one place. We could all go in and work on them. I think it might be a good idea. It's not. I don't think it's free, but we'd have to,
It's $99.
They have a trial.
Oh, it's $99.
Yes.
What?
But there is a free plan that includes 2 projects,
Okay.
limited to 305 megabytes of storage to get you started.
Okay. I hadn't really
Let's
looked
go
in.
with the free plan because
Yeah.
$99 is more than a
Yeah, we wouldn't want to do anything this is just an example of one that I've used that's nice. If it's expensive, we obviously would probably not even go there.
It does also say that it limits team members, so I was just trying to see what it does.
But it doesn't really matter. You can have like 2 team members, and then 2 people on that team member, and then
Yeah.
other 2 people on the other team member. But I'm trying to look here, and I don't see anything free.
Okay, in that case, we won't use
Down
it.
at the bottom,
99 bucks.
it's down at the bottom, Elfrey, where it says
it?
free
Oh, free
trial.
plan.
Little tiny link. The big thing
Oh,
says
yeah, yeah,
spend
yeah.
money. The little tiny link says free trial.
So it says include 2 projects limited to 300 objects and 5 megabytes of storage to get you started.
Right. But it doesn't say how
Would
many
that do it?
people. Yeah, so it
See,
may
we can
be,
do like
yeah, if 1 or 2 of us
we
work
can
on
use
each
one maybe and go as much as we can, and then we make another one.
Yeah,
for that.
I don't think that I wouldn't feel bad about getting a couple and then each team could have their own and you go in and it'd just be nice to have somewhere we could save them and work on them, come back to them. If we're not feeling up for this one, I know that there are plenty out there. If anyone has a favorite, I'm open to suggestions. If anyone wants to go out and research and find different mock-up sites, that'd be great.
I've used one that's a wireframe, one that I can't remember which one it is, but
That'd be nice.
it's okay. But this one looks fun and easy.
Yeah.
I'll play with it. So
Okay. And I'm just now going in again. Hold on one second to that. I'm going to post that SDD for everyone to see.
yes, please.
Here it is.
Oh man, I don't have that open.
And it might take quite a while to paste. This is the other thing I wanted to mention. This is a 123-page SDD.
Somebody turned off their headphones. I mean, they've unplugged them.
Here, let me grab headphones.
No, it was working. It's somebody that's just recently done something.
Okay, can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there still is an echo.
Maybe is that my computer? No.
Yeah, do you have headphones on, Elsie? If you don't,
No, but my computer has noise cancellation, and I always use it in the same way.
I don't know. It started all of a sudden. Mine doesn't even have a microphone, so I can't do it.
It seems like it's getting worse.
I can mute my microphone and we can check. Let me check.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now.
Is there still an echo?
No, the
Nope.
echo's gone.
Huh.
So, Elfrey, your noise cancellation
Oh.
stopped.
So you get the echo again?
Yes,
Yep.
it's back.
Fine, I'll mute my microphone when I'm not talking.
Perfect.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so that was the other thing that I kind of wanted to emphasize, I guess, as well. I've heard Daniel Marsden, he was saying that the average length for these is 60 to 100 pages. So we really need to have that in mind and be conscious of it in the next coming weeks, because we're going to have a lot of work ahead of us. And it's important that we all plan accordingly.
We just have to realize that if we're making the mock-ups and things, we're going to have to crank some out. We can't.
Oh yeah, there's no time to be, kind of trying to make things, pretty and stuff like that. They might have to be simple designs.
When does
and
version 0 do? Do you know?
I do not know when version 0 is
Okay,
due.
I'll look that up.
That's a good question. Okay, and the SDD is now copied into our drive. So please take a look at that. You'll see kind of several of the mock-ups that this team did. Ours will be different, of course, but we'll need to do something similar. I mean, they're not pretty, but they're round about 100 page, 80 to 100. You start seeing those mock-ups and what they do.
They get all the way to page 80 before mock-ups?
I think so, yeah.
Wow.
It's a long document. Of course, this team, they went really in depth. I think that most teams will probably do more like 80 pages. They did 123, but
Wow.
yeah, we have our work cut out for us.
No kidding.
Yeah, we'll have, they also did quite a bit with the registration, searches for the registration, things like that. And those things, I don't think that we'll be designing those because they've already been designed. I don't think that we'll need to do quite a few of the things that this team chose to do, but it will be good to kind of take a look at how they did these. Yeah, it starts around page 70, it looks like.
The version 0 is due December 2nd in lesson 12.
Okay. Yeah, I
It'll
think
take me a while because it's not loading, so give me a second so I can see it.
And the final version is due December 18th, which is Friday, the last day, the second to the last day of the semester, Friday the 18th.
Yeah, I think that it would be a good thing for all of us to take a look at this document. I think that if we are all on the same page, this will go a lot smoother than if we're just, kind of spinning our wheels. So let's take a look at this. The other item of business and this is the last thing I had to bring up, is that we will be doing a dependency description, and on the reading that Daniel wanted us to do for this week, it's on page 285, I think. Let me find the exact page. Yeah, 285. And if you can't get there now, take note of it and go read it. It's in that table, recommended design views. we've chosen the second design view, which is a dependency description. So the scope of our design view is a description of the relationships among entities and system resources. The entity attributes are identification, type, purpose, dependencies, and resources. And example representations are structure charts, data flow diagrams, and transaction diagrams. I think we'll do the diagrams that best fit each part, each entity, but it's important to note that we're focusing on relationships. We're focusing on how the view will communicate with the logic and the database and all those different elements. We're focusing on how they'll all depend on each other. So that will be important to note as we continue forward.
So we're going to need to know what dependencies they're creating. I mean, and what they've got set up. I know it's in the SRS to a point, but as they get the details, we're going to have to. So there's going to be a lot of come and go. We're going to need to have some basic, not necessarily defined mock-ups, but just some sort of general thing that they can work with right off the bat.
Exactly, and that's kind of the conclusion that was reached. They said, you know, we really can't go any farther until we have some kind of idea of what the system's going to look like. That's exactly what we kind of came to. So just as soon as you can, Laura, with those images, that would...
I can get those images done probably, certainly this weekend. So
yeah.
They'll all have them Monday morning. But
great.
But in the meantime, we need to start working on some rough, overviews of at least the basic pages, the main pages, maybe not all of the pop-ups or whatever, but the main layout that we're looking at of at least a choice or something. We should have that by next Thursday. So that time the leads meet, we can say, hey, this is what we've got. Is there a class folder where we put these things, or where do we just leave them in this one and you move them?
So that was the other thing. There was kind of a lot of discussion about OneDrive versus Google Docs. It's been left up to the individual teams. I'm okay saying Google Docs if everyone else is. I kind of prefer the fact that everyone is already familiar with Google Docs. And then when it comes time to integrate all of our parts, they'll all just be merged to Google Docs.
Yeah, I've worked with OneDrive and Google Docs on a group project. OneDrive works really well, but it doesn't work on a group so well because it's not user friendly for large teams. So I don't like OneDrive, but I know that Brad Bodley's really fond of it. I don't I don't know who recommended OneDrive, but
that was Daniel. One of the Daniels.
Miller.
Not
Daniel Miller.
Miller. Yeah.
Well, it really doesn't matter who suggested, but the thing is, I'm thankful that you said Google Docs. You have more capacity to do interesting things in OneDrive, but it locks up a lot worse than Google Drive does.
May I ask a couple of questions, because I feel like I want to start this part with the right foot, and I don't feel like I have reached that point yet. I don't feel like I'm quite understanding everything correctly. So maybe ask a couple of questions to clarify exactly what we're doing, how we're going to do it, and when do we need to do it. So we're all in the same boat.
And that's, I think.
I feel stupid in this point, but I don't feel like I quite got it. I don't.
Yeah, that's okay.
Know exactly everything. I probably because I got in the meeting like afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So
you didn't miss much. Did you read the 6 pages on the STD?
The 6 pages in the STD.
In the textbook. Starting on page 281.
No, I have not read those.
Okay.
That will make a difference, Selfie.
So I need to read
page 281 to 287.
I guess it's 7 pages.
Okay. No big deal.
I'm going to put a couple notes of things to read in here.
So for this plan, for this part of the plan, we're doing the design and we're in charge of the overview. Just to clarify, sorry, for the layout of the project.
The interface, yeah. The
interface.
The human computer.
And this is a MVC model, and we're gonna do the mock-ups of how the interface is gonna look like, and we need to back trace everything in our mock-up based on the SRS.
Yes. Well, every requirement in the SRS must be addressed.
Okay. Nothing else. Like if it's in the, we don't have to come up with new things. We just do whatever is in there.
Well, we haven't got his comments back if he says we're missing something.
Yeah, of course. I mean, whatever is in there, but whatever is not being addressed there is not a requirement. It's not something we need. And we're gonna have, are we gonna be assigning what everybody is supposed to be doing, or we're gonna go with the project, like pick them?
Yeah.
Go for it.
So I kind of had the thought, and let me know what you guys all think about this, but what if we were to divide into pairs to do different parts of this? Because I think that that'd be a good way for us all to kind of have some accountability and some specific tasks, someone you can refer to, and, you know, ask questions to, bounce ideas off. What does everyone think about that idea?
Well,
it's okay.
I'm good with working with a partner. There's 5 of us.
No, isn't it?
There are 5 of us, so
true, we're 5.
That is true. For some reason, I was thinking 6. Oh, that's because Tyler was in our group. He dropped. Okay.
I mean, but it
I
doesn't.
can drop.
You know, when we were working on the SRS, you're so familiar. When we were working on the SRS, I worked one-on-one with Brenda on some stuff. I worked one-on-one with Indians and stuff. We don't have to be always with one partner. We could be one person and another person.
Yeah, I really can't hear too well right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of echo.
Oh, that's true. I forgot to turn off my microphone. I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry. What was that, Lorna?
I was saying, in the SRS, sometimes I worked with you, sometimes I worked with Brendan. I've talked to Jonathan, you know, and Elfrey. We all had one-on-ones, and that's not saying that we couldn't do that where I could do one view with you, I could do one view with somebody else, and another view.
That's true.
Because we're doing more than one view, so we can work together.
Are we doing any more writing?
Yes.
Absolutely.
What parts? What writings are we doing?
Every diagram we will have text associated with it. If you look at the SDD example, it'll show you the one that I posted in the drive. It has a great description for each. For each item. I think it'd be good to go through and kind of maybe
Why don't you share your screen, open it up, and show an example of one, and say this is what we're looking at. Just one view and one set of descriptions of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, this is, so here is, you know, the registration search. Here's a simple mock-up. It has labels for each part, and then it'll go down every element in here with the associated numbers and have an explanation. That's not the best example. Let me go down and find. Yeah, these ones are a little better. So the remove button, it's an on click. It'll set the post variable type to remove. It'll set the post variable section ID to section.id. So we have quite a few things. I don't know that we're going to go quite as in detail as this group did. This group, honestly, they went as far as to say we're doing a Java servlet with JSPs and, we know exactly how we're going to do every aspect of this. I'm not sure that we're going to go quite that far in depth. That's something that we'll have to talk to Brother Dutray about, see what his expectations are. His expectations may be different than Brother Twitchell's, but in general, this is kind of what we're looking at. We're saying, okay, this is what this part of the system might look like. Here are a couple buttons. This will happen. This is what will happen when you click them. It will do this under the surface. So we're doing more than just this is what it's going to look like. We're doing this is what's going to happen under the surface when you click these things and when you select one of these items.
So these look like plain simple mock-ups, and I'm good with that. Is there going to be somewhere in this document where we also address design issues, like we're going to use colors and fonts and things, or we just stick with functional design?
That's another great question. I'm actually writing that down right now.
Well, no, not now, but like maybe
right.
towards the end, if that's something we're supposed to put in.
Yeah, I'm going to ask about that in our group meeting, the leader meeting, so that we can kind of...
Do we have like a list of all the interface that we had to design?
At this point, we don't, because we need to define those interfaces.
We have some of them in the SRS.
Yeah.
But not very many.
Yeah.
So we can start with those and go from there. And we're going to have to go back and forth. So we're going to have not version 1, 0, and 1. We're going to have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on our things. Each week we're going to have people making comments and saying this needs adjusting. So we're going to have to make sure all of our images are editable, because otherwise we won't be able to make changes, and we'll have to make a whole new diagram each time.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't want to make something and then lose the saved mock-up or something. We have to have editable versions. So that's why I was kind of thinking a site would be nice. So yeah, going back to your original question of different parts of this, how do you guys think that we could divide this into parts so that we can begin working on these parts of it?
I love the idea. Let's do that.
Huh?
All for it. Do it. I totally think that we should divide this and start tackling as much as we can, as fast as we can.
Yeah, I agree.
And just get it done, really ugly, but get it done, and then get comments on it and say, oh well, maybe that ugly wasn't ugly, it was pretty, and we like it, and just keep it like that.
Yeah.
I might like to start with the grad planner, because our design is so radically different than the one BYU has.
Right. That was my first thought as well. Get something up for that.
Because the registration will have subtle differences from the current one, whereas the grad planner will be radically different.
Right. The registration system, and kind of correct me if you don't think this is right, but from what I understand, from the registration system, you'll have the ability to say register for planned courses or something similar. Do we want to maybe make some mock-ups of the registration system too, where we have just an added button that says register for planned courses, or?
Well, it'll never say register for planned courses, because that would be an automatic thing. Like what the other one says, it says these are the courses you have planned. Pick the one you want to register for. Do you want to register for an unplanned course? So go through the system that picks one that's not planned. But there will never be a, hey, just put me in all of them, because then you could end up with one that doesn't match your work schedule, or some other obligation.
Yeah, what I was thinking is it would be pretty much look at how it is now, and then there'd be a button that says look at the classes you have planned, and it'll give you a list of all the classes.
But you can actually, but those lists should also have a plan button, a register button on each one of them, so that you don't have to type those in again and go through the system. You just click and say, oh, CS364, boom, I want that one. And it would show all the choices of times and locations for that. So you could just pick one. So so that's the way I imagined it. That's the way the ones that's the way I imagined it. So I've never seen a thing where, hey, just put in all my planned courses and
Right.
yeah, they'll be, because that's
I just know that what Takara was saying, yeah, in the end is that we were trying not to redesign the registration part of it too much. So it's kind
and
of tough. It's like
and
how would
that's the thing. I see this as
yeah
a skin. Okay,
yeah
I see the registration part more as a skin. It's what you see, and that some of the
uh-huh
buttons are in a little bit different place. But the big
uh-huh
thing is the main difference is that you're going to see your planned courses for that semester, and and it will be a direct button that instead of going through the different click here, click here, click here, click there, oh, there's the classes, you'll be able to go boom, and it'll take you straight to all the classes of that particular class. That's the
mhm
only difference I see that's any sort of significance, and it's more like a skin. The registration system itself will still be the same. It's just that when you click that one button, it's going to say to the system, I want this, 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 and this, boom. Now take it me to
right
it. It'll say this is the college, this is the department, this is the course name, and and it'll take you straight to it. Instead of having to hit those three things, it'll do it for you. And so it's not changing the registration system. It's
right
changing the interface, the skin. That's all we're
uh-huh
looking at. That's what I see it. And so she's
right
right.
mhm and I agree with that. I think that that's a good way of looking at it. It's just a kind of like a skin, a layer over it, something that
Right. A
you can kind
shell.
of yeah exactly. So I think that the main components of our system, to kind of put it to paper, would be that graduation planning side of things, and this other side that's kind of the registration system. Um, from that standpoint, I suppose that we could divide into two teams.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, let's see how do we want to divide this up? We do have five of us, so maybe what we can do is have two and two, and I can work with both teams and try to help there to be consistencies, and I will work in both teams. I just um or something like that, to where we can kind of keep things consistent between the two teams. I don't know, or does anyone else have any ideas?
Um, I I'm willing to do whatever because I can do any of it. I mean, the whole thing I'm not worried about, and I'll work with whoever. Maybe what we need to look at, and if we're breaking people up, is who's really available at the same time as somebody else.
That's true.
I would think availability is probably more important than anything else because I think we all could probably do anything. Wouldn't you say?
Right. I agree. And as far as that goes, I'm available during the daytime. You guys kind of know that. Brendan seems to have a little bit of a tough schedule right now with work. Um, he said that this week's been busy for him, but that it'll probably calm down a little in the future. Um,
What about Jonathan and Elfrey?
I'm pretty much available whenever.
oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I have a call coming in. Can I step out for just a second?
Yeah, please. We'll just talk times while you're gone.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So you're available days and nights, or just?
Yeah, I'm available whenever.
I mean, I have other teams and other classes that I'm working on, but I'm fairly flexible with the exception of my other team meetings.
I don't think we need to actually get together to do this kind of thing. Do you feel like we need to get together? I mean, it's a matter of like reporting to each other and working with each other. It's a matter of like, oh, we gotta do this, and so then we divide parts of the work together, and so we become accountable for those parts to each other. So we work together with that person, and then we do things together. Do we have too much schedules for that? I don't know.
I think you're right for the most part, but I also think that it probably would be good to make sure that if you're designing that there's a certain amount of consistency. If you're using something that works off of something, you're going to need to have
Well,
some.
didn't we want to use the mockup website that what's her name? Amy mentioned?
The BYU website or what?
No, the mock-up
Yeah.
website.
No, that's mockup, but mockup doesn't tell you where you're going to keep things. You know, like if I'm building an image and somebody else is building one that breaks off of that, you have to make sure your breakout looks like the rest of the image. Does that make sense?
Yeah, see, but that falls into the idea of like, well, I'm not to be offensive in any way, but I'm just saying it builds on the idea of like, well, I'm building this. Okay, I did this. What how do you think? And you can just shoot a text message and say, well, the person will get on it and look at it anytime and say, hey, I think it's okay. You keep going in that way, or I looked at it, I didn't like it, change it. I think this way will be better. And then the other person comes over and says, oh, I don't like that either. And then we go to Amy and say, hey, Amy,
Right.
none of us like the other idea. But see, my point is,
I agree with you.
the schedules don't matter for this situation, do we?
If we stay, I really think as long as everybody will follow their Slack chat or text messages or whatever, and we stay current, then it's okay. But if people only like talk once every 2 or 3 days, then we're going to have problems because we're going to need faster responses than that if we're working alone. If we're going to be, in order to coordinate, we either have to have a meeting where we work together, or we're going to have to coordinate by. And I'm with you. Then it works with whatever. Like if I have time when everybody else is busy, I can work on something and then send you a message. You can look at it when I'm busy, and then you can say, "Oh yeah, it looks good" or whatever, and we can go back and forth. I like that, but we have to communicate. That's the big problem.
No, that's for sure. So let's say this. Okay, so let's say that I get assigned with Lorna or with Brendan or anyone. Okay, I get assigned to one person. I work on it, and then it doesn't really matter with who I am assigned with. It's a matter of like, hey, I start working on my stuff. I did some changes. What do you think? And then once we figure that we need a meeting, we just get with that person together. We decide a time and an hour, a moment during the day, and say, okay, let's get together at 3 for like 50. Let's talk about what we've been doing and what do we feel about it and how do we feel about that. And if that's good, then we move on. If not, then we do the adjustments and we just keep going. So a matter of right now, I feel like a matter of right now deciding with whom. It's just a matter of like saying, hey, I go with that person. That's it. Because all of us should be capable of building what we need to build.
You're sort of saying take what you want to do, and then somebody else would just be their backup assistant sort of thing. If I'm working on view 1 and you're working on view 2, my view 1 interact that way, or maybe Amy would look at it, or Jonathan or Brendan or somebody.
Yeah, that's kind of like the idea. Like, for example, let's say we have 4 views. Okay, so all of us are in charge of one view, A, B, C, D, and so on. So I'm in charge of A, and then you're my partner, like let's say Lorna, and then you're in charge of B. So I'll work on A, I'll get it as much as I can done. Then you come and look at it, and you say, hey, I think it's good. I think you should just change this part. And I go and I look at yours and say, oh, yours is good too. You just should, or everything is good. You don't have to change anything. But instead of saying change it, more like change it. Not say, hey, you gotta change it. No, change it. And say, hey, I like it in this way. So you keep both in there, like the one that was before and the other one. It's gonna be just longer. And so you have both, and then Amy comes in and says like, oh, I like that one. The other one goes away. That's it.
Oh, so she gets to see all the choices.
Yeah. And she just destroys.
But I think this is where I think that a meeting would come together is we might sometimes look and say, I like it, but maybe you could tell me something and I would just make an adjustment. Mine's good, but if I make changes, we don't need them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. See, for example, if I go and you're here and I look at whatever you did and I say, hey, I think this could be done like this, and I actually give you that. Because criticizing someone and saying like, hey, that is not good, go and make it again, I'm going to help.
Yeah.
See, so if I'm your partner, I'm kind of like supposed to be working in yours too. So basically I go and say, oh, look, I don't like that part. I go and I put my way that I think it should be. And then you look at it. And if you feel like, oh, Alfred's way is better, I'm going to keep that. Amy doesn't have to step in. But if we both of us have an opinion and say, hey, we like this one and we like that one, well, Amy comes and make the last call and say, that's the one, and that's it. And we just take it as mature people and say, that's the one you call. Period.
So Amy's our tiebreaker.
Yep, basically.
Did you hear
So-
that?
So that allows her to not be part
Yeah.
of one group, but she's just the one that jumps over and looks at what we're doing and saying, oh, that's good, that's not, that's good, that's not, and then quick decisions.
Yeah.
So let's
yeah, I
all
did.
be. What do you think about that? Do you feel like is that a good idea? Maybe we just go with whatever approach you want to have. But I just feel like we could do this quicker.
I agree with Elfrey that we should all, come up with at least the first drawing individually as much as if we want to. If somebody wants to work together, that's great. But if they work better on their
Yeah.
own, they'll
Yeah.
have more time.
I agree. Elfrey, would you mind turning off your microphone?
Oh,
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I can't think straight when things are ringing like that. So what if? Yeah, I like that idea. I think that if we get as many people working on design as possible, and then maybe not all working on all the designs, but let's say a couple people working on this design, a couple people working on this design, and they're just kind of bouncing ideas off each other, starting with just rough drawings. Even we'll be able to kind of pick the best of each, and then maybe come together and create a mock-up based on those drawings or something like that. Just so we're starting simple, or even if you want to use the software to make the mock-ups. I mean, I know it's almost easier than drawing in a way because it's
It's
kind of
drag
nice the way
and
they
drop.
have it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's drag and drop. That's easy.
Drag and drop. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't get easier than that.
So Amy,
Yeah.
how about if we focus in on the main views?
Okay.
Like, the main of this is what, because a lot of the detail work doesn't affect the other teams. It'll be more like we're designing what they wrote. Yeah, I would rather that we start with the main thing of this is the overall thing so that all the teams in the whole class can start seeing what the general
Yeah, that's
idea
true.
is. So we could start with the main views. That would be critical.
Yeah. I think that if we do that, that'd be great. If we could, did you guys? So if we get kind of the registration side of things and the grad plan side of things, that would be great. If we just get simple mock-ups drawn for each. Did you guys determine whose schedules kind of fit together while I was out?
Elfrey felt that it would be best if we didn't work as groups. So
Okay,
he
that's
would
fine.
work alone. If somebody else would rather work alone, they can be his partner, and that way they can be happy together.
no, what I didn't say. Sorry, maybe I didn't express myself correctly. What I said is yes, we do work in teams, 2 people. What we don't care is the schedule of people. We don't have to say, hey, what's your schedule like? No, we just assign, hey, you two work together, period. And then
I
you
did
figure.
understand you. I did understand that. What I mean is, if somebody wants to do the actual design together, then they can get
See, but that makes no difference whether your schedule or not matches. It's a matter of like, hey, yeah, you two work together, and then if you want to work together, you say when you work together.
That's
But
what
if we
I'm
spend
saying.
time right now deciding, hey, who fits with who, it's gonna take forever.
Did you understand that, Amy?
So,
Let's say this, okay? Let's say this. I work with Jonathan.
Yeah.
Okay. And Lorna works with Brendan. Now you go and figure what time you work together. You have to figure that out. See, I don't wanna sound aggressive, but because I'm a Chilean and I don't speak English the way I should, it's gonna sound aggressive. So please use some sort of a painkiller or something, but take it softly. Okay. We're adults. We're taking a class. So I don't wanna be dealing like with the idea of, oh, is your schedule matching with my schedule? No. See, this is a class, you gotta make it work at some point. So now Lorna and Brendan work together. You go and figure what time you work, and you go and figure how do you work it out. But you get your part done. Okay, and then you report to Amy. And the same thing. And then all bring the group together back at any point if you want to, like a once a week or twice a week. And say, hey, how are you doing, guys, for like 30 minutes? Everything is good? Anyone needs help? Are we good? Good. We keep going. But right now I'm saying like let's not waste time and asking people around, hey, what's your schedule like? No, let the people figure out that afterwards in another meeting with them, or just by text saying, hey, what time do you want to get together? Oh, I can do evenings. I can see. This is wasting of time right now to me. Like asking these questions, not offend. Okay, please do not take it as offend. I'm just saying, let's just assign.
He's saying jump in.
Yeah, let's assign and let's start doing things.
Okay. I do think that we should assign a couple things. Alfred, do you mind muting your microphone?
Dang it.
Yeah, I think that we should assign a task. I think that we should have deliverables each meeting so that our meetings aren't in vain. So how about the deliverable for this meeting could be that we each come up with, we each decide what we're going to come up with a design for, one of the two, the grad planner or the registration system. I can take a look at, I can actually kind of be in between, but I can kind of do a rough mock-up of each of them, or I'll do maybe the registration system, and we'll get together at the beginning of next week, and we'll go over those designs, and we'll refine them, and then we can make a better version for our next meeting. How about we have 2 meetings a week? Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
And they can be short meetings. I'm not really a big fan of, drawing things out if we don't have to. So I think that as long as we're having short meetings with deliverables, we're going to be okay. As long as we're working on our own, we don't have to have long meetings.
I agree.
But if we're not working on our own, we will have to work together and get it done. So, sorry, what was that?
Okay.
Okay. So I think that, as long as everyone has a commitment, we're all going to do a mock-up for the grad planner or the registration. And when can we meet? Can everyone do a meeting on Monday or Tuesday?
I can do either.
Tuesday, does Tuesday work for everyone?
Yes. Well, I have.
Yes.
Not in the evening. I can do days.
Okay.
Okay.
I can do days.
I'm a young woman leader. We meet on Tuesdays.
Can we
Okay.
do when does the BYU devotional thing end? We could do it right after that if everyone.
Right after devotional? Let's do that.
Yeah, I can do right after devotional at 3 o'clock.
Okay. So Tuesday
3 o'clock
at
Mountain
3
Standard
o'clock.
Time.
Mountain Standard Time. And maybe we could say, do you guys also want to do Fridays or something at this same time? We can say Tuesdays and Fridays.
Fridays, this week the temple's closed for maintenance, but
Okay.
I normally am a temple worker Friday afternoon.
Okay.
In evening. I have to leave at 12 o'clock Idaho time.
Okay.
And I don't get home till midnight.
We could also do Friday mornings if everyone's not opposed to that. I have a meeting at 10, so as long as we said like 9 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I can do any time before noon. I have to leave at noon.
Okay.
So I can.
Is it your 9 like my 8 or 8 a.m.?
No, 9 o'clock Mountain Time.
Yeah, so
Oh,
Idaho
9
time.
o'clock.
Yeah.
Wait. 8 o'clock? No, 9 o'clock. 9?
9 o'clock,
I
yeah.
can't do 9. I can do 10. I mean, never mind. 8.
You can do 8? Would everyone kind of hate that? Would that be too early for everyone?
I can do 8. It doesn't matter.
Hey, I get to sleep in. It's 10 o'clock my time.
Okay.
You're like, yeah, but I'm going to sleep in anyways.
I have a harder time with people that say, "Oh, let's meet at 10 o'clock at night," which is me.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with the morning ones.
Okay,
I'd have to go.
How about 11:30? 9.
That's 7 o'clock for me. Honestly, I don't care. I like getting things done early. I'm a morning person, so yeah. Let's say Tuesdays at 3 p.m. and Fridays at 8 a.m.
Well, checking with Brandon because he may
Yes.
not be available those times.
We'll double check with him.
Tentatively, those are good.
Yeah, tentatively, let's plan on that. And by next Tuesday, everyone have a rough mock-up of either the grad planner or the registration. It can be done on paper or it can be done in the software. Get your own free account if you'd like, or if you want to partner with someone. Or maybe even after that, you can partner with someone, use the same account.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So-
I'll work with Lorna, okay, and then we have Brendan with Jonathan. How about that?
Jonathan?
For the team, the two people together,
Okay.
that they are like two. Hey, something happened. My screen is going black. I don't know. Whatever. So I work with Lorna. Jonathan works with Brandon, and then we report to each other, so we don't have to be reporting to you. And then we decide all the rest of stuff. And then when is it? Tuesday.
I'll
Tuesday,
independently evaluate both designs on my own, and when we come together, we can all talk about both of the designs, weigh pros and cons, and we'll give suggestions. Do more
Let's try
final
to have the
thoughts.
accounts available to everybody, like names of the account and passwords and stuff, so that everybody can jump into any account and look at it.
I'll have a page.
If we use the same password for all of them, then we won't have to remember the different passwords. We could just set a team password that works for them.
Okay.
And then no matter who starts one, we all know how to get into it as long as we have the username. The password will all be the same.
And I also say we should have this done by Monday so Amy has time to look over before the meeting.
No, I'd rather look them over at the meeting, maybe even. I don't know, because I can't get them done by Monday. I've got to still do all of those screenshots of BYU.
That's fine. You go
Okay,
ahead and
yeah.
do that, Lorna. I think it's okay for this one because we'll all be going over them together. But if anyone wants feedback, just call me. I'm available during the day. So, do we have a group password that we want to choose?
CS364.
Okay. CS364. Oh, there you go, Frey. Yeah. So this is our password. We'll have our usernames up there.
We can put it in there, like where we have our contact page. We can have,
It has to be a little bit longer. I'm pretty sure that that password is not gonna work.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not long enough, but we could put in.
Leave it up to me. Hey,
424.
Amy, leave it up
How
to me. I'm gonna create four accounts, okay? And 4 accounts with like a 1 number difference. So like
Okay.
account 1, account
Thank
2,
you.
and then all of them with the same password.
Well,
Okay.
You might ask me to
I don't know if it'll let you do that. It may not let you have them have the same IP address. They may need to be made by 4 different people.
No, the only thing I'm
It might
worried
be
is
based on email.
password. Yeah, but I have like a 7, so no worries.
All right.
Actually, I have more than 7, but anyway. Okay, I'll take care of that.
Okay.
Those
So
will
we'll
be
come
done,
together
like, in
on
about
Tuesday.
an hour and a half.
Okay.
So, but you can post them all on a document in the folder.
Yeah, right there with the document where Amy was creating that. I'll put them in there.
Okay.
And I'll actually assign names to the accounts and stuff, so that we don't get them confused and stuff.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Are
I
you gonna
think
make
that we're
5
good.
so Amy has one too, or just?
No, Amy doesn't need one, does she?
Sure, she does.
We could make a 5th one, which will be like all combined, and Amy can use that one.
Yeah, I'd like to have my own probably actually because I'm
You're
sure
gonna
I'm
make it
gonna be
yourself?
doing stuff. Yep.
She might do some stuff because she likes doing stuff.
Yeah, I like working. I love mock-ups, so.
Don't push her out of the fun. He surrenders. So
Okay.
make 5.
All right. I think that we all have our assignments. If there are no more questions, I think we can call it a day.
Yeah. And any more, if we have to record them, we got to remember we're doing invitations because it
Yeah.
didn't work out so well with the invitation.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Great.
All right, sounds good. I'll post this video for Brendan to see, and I think that we're all set.
Okay, sweet.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, thanks guys. We'll see ya.
Great
Peace.
job, Amy.
Thanks.